Another issue that's causing Joe Biden to look bad. Not that Joe Biden needs any help. Joe Biden doesn't need any help to look bad. He already looks bad enough. But this issue that's happening on the southern border is actually making not just Joe Biden look bad, it's making the entire Democrat Party look bad. To the point to where you have Democrats who are like, oh my goodness, this is not good. This is pretty bad. This is terrible. Look at this, because we've been talking about the southern border, about the 10,000, about to be 15,000 people coming into the country. Talked about it yesterday. Well, I want to play this one for you where they're coming across and they're talking about this, how the Mexican, Mayorkas, he meets with the Mexican president. In Mexico, let me remind y'all, when President Trump was in office, what did President Trump do? He put tariffs on Mexico because of the southern border. And guess what they did? They straightened up. They said, okay, whoa, hold on, Mr. President Trump. Mr. President Trump, you can't be putting these tariffs on us. This is not good for our country. You're going to make it worse for us. And President Trump said, well, maybe you should do the right thing. Once you start doing the right thing, and then you and we can talk. But watch this.
Well, number one, they could fix this tomorrow if they chose to. This is a self-inflicted wound by the Biden administration. Trump had the border at the lowest level of illegal crossings in 40 years in December of 2020. December of 2023, we're at an all-time high. Policy matters. So he told Mexico, if you don't help me, I'm going to put tariffs on all your products. Guess what? They helped. Biden changed that policy. We're being overrun. President Biden has abandoned the Border Patrol.
Biden has abandoned the Border Patrol. You see that? Biden has abandoned America, not just the border, but he has abandoned the United States of America. Think about that. Now, Lindsey Graham, I'm looking here in the comments and I see people, they always talk about Lindsey Graham, and I am with you on that. Lindsey Graham, to me, really, Lindsey Graham is a total snake. I don't trust Lindsey Graham. Lindsey Graham, he'll play the dozen. He'll jump on whatever side that's kind of riding the wave right now. Is Lindsey Graham even married? Not that it has anything to do with what we're talking about here, but
No, I think he's just single.
Yeah, he probably swings the other way with it. But anyways, this southern border is becoming it is a major issue, and it's been a major issue for some time. It really has been a major issue. Now, I want you to listen to this. This was on CBS talking about this border issue. Now, when you get the government state media actually calling out the problems that we're seeing on the southern border going into an election year, 2024, it becomes a major problem. And Joe Biden, where's Joe Biden? He's in the Virgin Islands, right? Yesterday, I thought he was going to the Cayman Islands. Not that it matters. It doesn't matter where Joe Biden is. Joe Biden go to Jamaica. It doesn't even matter.
Yeah.
But Joe Biden goes on vacation where our country's being invaded, and this is the whole plan. Listen to what they're saying here on CBS about Joe Biden, the Democrats, and what this means for America.
A growing number of migrants are crossing the southern U.S. border, and that is the focus of a major meeting between U.S. and Mexican officials today. Thousands of people spent Christmas trekking north, hoping to reach the U.S. Recently, the number of crossings has increased to record highs. CBS News Homeland Security and Justice reporter Nicole Skanga joins us now with more. Nicole, what can you tell us about what's happening there?
Yeah, Chanel, the White House is dispatching top officials to Mexico City after migrant arrivals at the southern border topped 10,000 for multiple days last week. And Secretary of State Antony Blinken and Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas are scheduled to meet with Mexican President Andrés López Obrador as both countries aim to stem migratory flows with additional enforcement actions. But a record level of crossings has strained federal and local resources on both sides, forcing U.S. officials to halt rail operations at 2 locations along the southern border briefly last week.
Remember, we talked about this last week, how they shut down the rail system because people were riding the train system. They shut it down. So guess what happens to all of these goods that are being transported into the country? It's not happening going out of the country. No one wants to leave America. They're all coming into America. So when you're waiting on certain items, you got contractors waiting on certain merchandise, certain things that they need. It's not coming. It's being held up. This is a result of the Biden regime. Welcome to Biden's America. This is exactly what this is. This is exactly what it is. Biden's America, tearing down our economy. Why do you think that they're not saying why do you think there's no urgency when it comes to this, for the Democrats? They're talking about it. They're talking about it because it's like, hey, this is a major problem. It's like they're being forced to talk about it. They don't want to talk about it because they want Joe Biden to look peachy. They want Joe Biden to look great. They're just trying to figure out how they can blame it on President Trump and MAGA Republicans.
Now, earlier this month, Mexican authorities temporarily suspended migrant deportations, citing a lack of funds. Today's diplomatic summit comes as the largest caravan in more than a year approaches the United States, bringing an estimated 6,000 migrants to the southern border, now highlighting the stakes for President Joe Biden. A recent CBS News poll shows immigration ranks second among the most important problems facing Americans today, second only to inflation.
Let me stop it there. And you know, part of the reason why they're only talking about this story is because the Biden regime is meeting with Mexico. If they weren't meeting with Mexico, they wouldn't even be talking about this. They'd be talking about how they can get Trump, how they can take down Trump. That's the only thing that the government state media would be talking about. But because they are there in Mexico talking about this, do you think that they're there in Mexico talking about how to stop this influx of people coming into our southern border? Absolutely not. They're probably down there talking to them saying, look, let's get the NGOs more in contact, get them more in play. Let's get them more funded so they can bring more people into the country. I'm willing to bet that's how all this is playing out. They're not down there. And you can see the numbers right here. The inflation's at 27%, which, if you ask me, it's actually higher than that. It's a lot higher than that. They're fudging the numbers, if you ask me. And they got immigration at 20%. It's higher than that. And I believe they're fudging the numbers on this. And these are Democrats. These are Democrats.
So it's a huge problem. I wonder what specifically, though, Nicole, is on the agenda for today.
Yeah, Chanel, it is a short trip, but a long agenda. Secretary of State Antony Blinken and Department of Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas set to meet not only with the Mexican president, but also the Mexican Security Cabinet. The goal is to really tackle this growing humanitarian crisis along the U.S.-Mexico border and this growing migration in the Western Hemisphere and confront border security challenges, among them, reopening key ports of entry along the U.S.-Mexico border. Many, including 2 railway crossings, were temporarily suspended ahead of the holiday.
Okay, let me stop it there. Because, you see, I told you, the only reason why they're even talking about this story is because the Biden regime, the O'Biden regime, is in Mexico. That's the only reason. Other than that, they don't care. They would be looking the other way. It wouldn't even be a major story for them. Not a single time do they ask, well, where's Kamala Harris? This is the government state media. And that's the reason why they're not asking where Kamala Harris is, because then Kamala Harris will have to make a statement. She's the border czar.
And pretty much there's not going to be any deal because the Mexican president is saying that America is fueling the migration by the sanctions that they put on Cuba and Venezuela. They're mostly referring to the petroleum sanctions that Trump put on them in 2017. But guess what? The problem didn't get bad until 2020, 2021? Years and years after those sanctions were put on them.
President
So that's
Trump
just an excuse.
was in office, the country had an all-time, 40 years low? All-time low for illegal migration coming into the country, and now it's at an all-time high, higher than any other time in our nation. The ultimate goal for what they're doing is to get people to come into the country illegally and then make them citizens.
And guess what? Trump also said, listen, we're not going to give Mexico aid unless you stop this huge influx of people coming to the United States. And guess what? Well, they stopped. They said, we want the money. But guess what? Biden just flowed that money right back to him, so they have no incentive to stop the border.
Let's get it back going. Anything President Trump was doing, they wanted to reverse it. Now listen to the idiot mayor out of Chicago. He actually spills the beans. The reason why they want the illegals here in the United States of America.
Technical support that we receive from the federal government, we appreciate that. Work authorization to put people on a pathway to sustainability, I certainly appreciate that. And without real significant investment from our federal government, it won't just be the city of Chicago that won't be able to maintain this mission. It's the entire country that is now at stake. But
you hear this? This dude's a total idiot.
No way what the state of Texas is doing is helping the cause. As much as
what it was, the state of Texas. Listen, now the state of Texas are arresting people. We're going to get into that just really quick here in a minute. But listen to this. Listen.
We recognize that there are challenges, significant challenges at the border. And we do need real substantive immigration reform and policies that allow us to have a structure and a pathway to citizenship.
Right there, the pathway to citizenship. These people have already broken the law. Get them off the screen. They've already broken the law coming into the country, and he's talking about a pathway to citizenship. We're talking about men of the fighting age coming into the country. These are not women and children. These men are not bringing their wives with them, not bringing their mommies with them, not bringing their children with them. These are men of the fighting age, and he's talking about a pathway to citizenship? Absolutely not. This is ridiculous. He just say it. That's all they want to do, because they see that they're losing support from their own party. They're losing support from people that used to just blindly vote for them.
Well, and listen, the migration, it actually impacts the people at poverty level here in America. It takes away jobs from them. So they're asking, hey, listen, give us the jobs. Why are you giving these people jobs when we need jobs? Why are you giving them assistance when we need assistance? It's absolutely ridiculous. But listen, he referred to Texas, Will, and I have an article here that says, we talked about Texas is implementing a law where they can arrest illegals. And the Biden administration warned Texas it will sue if the state attempts to implement strict immigration law, which they have started, Will. In fact, within the past week, I think they made 10,000 arrests.
So now the Biden regime is going to arrest or going to sue Texas for doing what the Biden regime is not doing.
Yep, it says Justice...
When they don't do their jobs, it's up to the governor to do the job.
Yep, it says the Justice Department will file a lawsuit, SB4, if Texas does not assure the federal officials by January 3rd that the state will refrain from enforcing the law.
Wow. Look, so here it is. Let me show you this clip. This is with them in Mexico.
Only got the Mexican president to do it by threatening massive sanctions and economic sanctions. The Bidens won't do that.
And while you're talking, KT, I just want to put up on the screen here, this is brand new video we have just got. We talked about the meeting between Lopez Obrador. We talked about, Anthony Blinken and Secretary Mayorkas down there. And it's you. I've got about 15 seconds left for you, Robert, because the question really is, what do they expect Mexico to do?
They expect Mexico to expedite more people to the border so then they can bring more people in so they can just fast track them to being American citizens.
It's a waste of time, meeting.
That's what they're doing. But this video here, again, this one takes the cake. When the government state media is calling out what is happening, they're starting to panic. This is panic mode. Watch this.
What do voters think about immigration right now?
Yeah, it's becoming a real top issue here. So the top issue facing the nation. Look, the economy is still number one. It was number one in August. It's number one now. But take a look at the immigration/border security. It was just at 11% in August. Look where it's hopped to now, 19%. So it's closing in on the economy. In a number of different polls I've looked at, immigration and border security is running a closer second place to the economy as we head into 2024. And you might be thinking, though, okay, this is just Republican voters who are feeling this way. But I want you to take a look here, because I think this is rather interesting. The most Google searches for migrants by state. Look at all these states, Phil. They're all blue states. Illinois is 1, New York is 2, Massachusetts is 3, New Jersey is 4, Colorado is 5, and of course, there's been a lot of talk about the migrant crisis in both Illinois and New York, and it seems like even voters in those states, very blue states, states that Democrats win in general elections almost always, they are focusing on this issue as well.
They're focusing on the issue. They're focusing in on it.
You like the content Will Johnson is producing? To stay informed and up to date with the current events, go ahead and hit the thumbs up and subscribe to see more videos like this one. Also, to find Will Johnson, visit www.uaf.media.